This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Welcome to Vet Candy's podcast in Other News, a podcast to expand your idea of what is impacting the veterinary world, veterinarians, and all animal care professionals as humans. We are your co-hosts. I'm Dr. Jen.
And I'm Dr. Jason Chatfield.
If you are not yet a Vet Candy subscriber,
why not?
Please subscribe for free today at myvetcandy.com. And if you've got lovely, complimentary, and positive things to say, you can reach me at jen@myvetcandy.com.
And for everything else, you can reach me at jason@myvetcandy.com. Okay,
our topic today is adaptation to business during the pandemic.
In other news, innovation is key, and it's key to success.
It is. Jason, have you ever innovated anything?
Well, I'm innovating right now without being able to get a haircut. If you guys can't see my hairstyle, it's very innovative.
It's bushy.
Yeah. Okay. I prefer innovative, but okay, I'll go with bushy. Whatever you think.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm learning to cook. I don't think that's innovation, but that's adaptation.
Whoa. Do you guys, wherever you're at the farm, do you make sure you have fire suppressant situation going on? You're all up to date? You're within code?
Oh, we're up to code.
Man,
we're up to code. We've only had to use it 3 times.
You got to warn the world before you do stuff like that.
That's right. Well, anyway, for our piddly little attempts at innovation and adaptation to the world as we know it during the pandemic, we're dwarfed by some of our colleagues. And so today we have 3 very special guests coming in to chat with us because not only are they adapting and overcoming the current circumstance of the lockdown, countrywide, but they're innovating.
Worldwide
yes. Lockdown.
Think bigger than.
Think bigger than. Okay. Mm-hmm. But not only are they innovating or adapting, they're innovating and actually kind of disrupting the veterinary medical industry. I mean, I'm excited to talk to him
in
because
a good
if you
way.
could build
in a good way.
In a good way. That's right. Because if you could build a better mousetrap, what happens, Jace?
You get rich? Oh, no. You catch more mice. No, the world beats a path to your door. Is that what you're looking for?
It only takes him 3 tries, folks.
Whatever.
3 tries. Right. That's right. So our first guest is Fink. Osher, welcome to the Candyverse.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and so I'm going to try to say this correctly. Your company, I'm fascinated with it, but also because I love clinical pathology, looking at cells and making diagnoses. But I'm not good at it, right? But
don't be too flattered, Osher. She also loves lepto. I mean, you're in the same category as lepto. Okay, all right. Let's just try to be.
There's a lot to love there. There's a lot to love.
Yeah, this is true.
Thank you. So your company is called Scopio, right?
That's right. Scopio Labs. Yeah.
Scopio Labs. And so can you explain a little bit for folks about what Scopio does? Kind of, because it's a service, right? It's not a clinic.
Right. So it's a platform. It's a digital platform and system. It consists of a scanning device that scans microscopy samples.
Okay.
It allows people to upload those digital samples. So think FNAs, fine needle aspirates, blood smears, body fluids, stained urine, these kinds of things. So the kinds of microscopy samples that you're creating in clinic.
Uh-huh.
And it allows you to upload those samples to our network of global clinical pathologists. Okay.
Global.
Right?
Global, Jen. Global.
Global.
Right, that's very cool.
So that we can provide a turnaround time of like 1 hour, 24/7 a day. Okay.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
so we have people in Australia. We have people in the UK. So, it's 3 p.m. our time is 3 a.m. their time, and the other way around.
Wow. Okay. Wait. So do you love saying this? Yeah, no, I got a guy.
Yeah, I got a guy. Yeah, you like your reports in Australian? I got a guy.
That's funny.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we love it.
That's awesome.
So
Okay.
yeah, that sounds great. So it's not a turnaround time of 3 or 4 days, right? Like that's the typical.
That's kind of normal.
Hour, from 3 or 4 days to an hour. Like that's sort of unbelievable, actually.
Yeah, so it's point of care diagnostics, right?
Exactly.
And you have things like CBC machines, chemistry,
Yeah.
the like. But if you want an expert to look at your slides, you have to today, or before Scopio, I should say.
Yeah.
You have to physically ship those
do we
samples.
call that BS?
Yeah,
Before
BS.
Scopio?
Before Scopio, yes. This is a very, very common term.
BS, very good.
Yeah, we're always talking about, that's BS.
That's right.
But BS, you had to ship it out, right?
Hold on, we actually say that a lot with Jen too, but it has a totally different meaning when we say it when association with her. So
Come on now.
All right,
Come on. It's a tough room, Osher.
I get it.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'm very simple. I live on the farm. We're not as developed as Jason in the basement. Okay. And so when we're talking about this, you're using big words like microscopy and scanning and FNA. So I want to make sure I have this correct. So traditionally, if I'm in a clinic, I'm standing in a clinic and a dog comes in and I've got lumps and bumps on the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have 3 choices as a veterinarian, right? I can watch it, right? We could just monitor it.
Yep.
I can poke it,
Mm-hmm.
or I can cut it. Now, I don't really want to cut it right off the bat, usually, right? Because I want to know what it is. And I don't want to watch them all because sometimes owners, man, they've been watching it for a while and they just want to know what it is.
Yep.
So I'm going to poke it, right? So I poke it with a needle, I suck some cells out, and I make a slide.
Is this
and
where
then
I say what's next, or?
Yeah, I take the slide,
Yeah.
I stick it on the microscope. Tell me what happens with Scopio.
Okay, so it really depends on the practice.
Okay.
But most vets, will give it a quick look and see, is this a lipoma or not, right? So is this
just fat?
Yeah.
I can tell fat. Okay,
Yeah.
not fat. You got to do something else.
Yeah, and a lot of times the fat will just kind of wash off the slide, and that's an indicator in and of itself. But okay, let's just say you see some cells there. Okay.
Uh-huh.
There are some people that'll look at that and they'll be like, it's a mast cell tumor, right? Or it's lymphoma, or But
we call those people clinical pathologists, Asha.
Yeah, see, that's what that's what we call those people.
Yeah.
Right. But really, you should be sending those samples out for a clinical pathologist to review it and give you an answer. Because I'm not a clinical pathologist. I'm not even a vet, right? And it's just a very complicated thing to be able to make those calls. And I think a lot is at stake. Yeah. So the issue is that, as you rightly pointed out, the practice of doing a fine needle aspirate, it's meant to be a less invasive, fast, in some cases preliminary diagnostic process. Right. But if I have to wait 2-3 days to get the answer back, then maybe, knowing the histopath may be curative, it may be more conclusive, then maybe I'll just go that route. Yeah. So cytology as a practice was meant to be super fast and was meant to be kind of point of care. Right? Right. That's the best manifestation of cytology. Absolutely. And so when you get our system in the hospital, then it becomes a kind of thing where it can be that diagnostic process that gives you really fast answers and allows you to make timely decisions. Okay, yeah, because when I'm looking at that dog or that cat, so traditionally I have to wait 3 or 4 days, then I got to get scheduled if I'm supposed to, if it's something that indicates surgery. Right. And then I got to get the dog back there. The owner's got to take off work. They got to bring the dog. I got to schedule the stuff. Right. That's another trip for the dog or the cat. And we got to do it. So here's what I find interesting too, is number one, this would revolutionize not only veterinary medicine, but human medicine. Yeah. Are human physicians using this sort of technology yet? Yeah. So I think it's important to note that we're not just in veterinary medicine. We're in human medicine. We're in the field of research as well. Oh, wow. And veterinary is where we've made traction and where we're actually selling into vet hospitals. In human medicine, we have to get things, approved by regulatory bodies like the FDA and the CE. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't think FDA is doing anything that isn't spelled COVID right now. Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, they're a little tied up at the moment. Yeah. But we are pretty far along on that. We have a 3-site clinical trial that's wrapped up for our peripheral blood smear. Oh, that's incredible. Application. So in human medicine, we are very heavy up in AI, where the system is identifying cells or white blood cells of different parameters in the clinical lab.
Wow.
And we're also working on a bone marrow tool, which will be really very revolutionary. In research, the thing that kind of slows things down is that it's a very fragmented market. You have all these different researchers that are doing different things. And so we're working on a tool that is meant to be broad and general. So that it's really a self-training AI system that allows a research practitioner to go in and say, okay, this is the question we're asking of our samples, and now go find the answer everywhere else in all the other slides.
Okay, really cool. When you say AI, I think of artificial insemination. That's not what you mean by AI.
No, it is. No, I'm kidding.
I was like, wait, hold on.
Wait, what? No,
what do you mean by AI?
Yeah. So when we say AI, it's artificial intelligence, right? It's basically training the computer to do things that humans are doing that are very tedious but somewhat easy, right? Now, I'm not saying that being a clinical pathologist or hematologist is easy, but if you can, like clockwork, just look at many different cells and say, okay, that's a neutrophil, that's a lymphocyte, that's a monocyte. These are the kinds of tasks that very busy experts are doing today. Okay, we don't think people should have to count cells. We think that you should be able to look at the morphology and make these analyses. But AI will help to sort of streamline those kinds of activities. And AI is very good at pattern recognition and those kinds of things.
So you guys are having a great conversation, and that's fantastic. I want to interject 2 seconds here. So I want to make sure I understand. You may have already said it 5 minutes ago, so just tell me, hey, we already said that. So
it takes Jason a while.
I have to catch up, but I promise you, I'm bringing everybody up with this, okay?
Well, it's because he's got all that hair. He's got all that hair.
That's
I know,
right.
too much hair. Well, no, I told you guys, no, I can't brand drop here, but no place to get that. Listen, I haven't been paid enough. But so you put the slide on the microscope, and then what? You just say go, or you hit a button, or what? How does it actually get over to?
Yeah, do I have to have crazy equipment?
Right. Yeah. So that's what we want to kind of get into. So do I just hit a button and it goes, or what? How does that work?
So we put the scanner in the hospital. Okay.
Who does? You guys do? You guys come put it
in? Yeah, we come and we install it. Although things are getting a little complicated with COVID, obviously.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. So
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
We're getting there.
Yeah. So, but we'll put the device in the hospital and set it up. It takes like 45 minutes to set up. And
Does
then
it attach to my microscope?
No, it's a box. It's like if you can think of some of the modalities that are in your hospital today.
It's another box on the counter, huh?
It's another box in the lab, right? And you put a slide in. Yeah, you put a slide. Well, our system actually fits 3 slides.
And what kind of what kind of quality picture are you getting? Because I've seen some stuff that Jason scans, and man, it looks like
not
chicken scratch.
Everybody is up to par with me. I get it.
Yeah, so our system is actually the highest resolution scanner on the planet. It's actually, some say planet, some say world.
In the galaxy.
But it's actually the maximum kind of bright field magnification that you would use as a clinical pathologist. So it's 100x equivalent magnification with oil immersion level resolution.
Oh my gosh.
If you ask any clinical pathologist, what's your workhorse lens?
It's 100.
It's 100x.
Yeah,
100%.
But there's really no 100%. Nice.
There you go.
And I got you, Jason. Don't worry.
Yes, thank you. I got to contribute.
Yeah.
Okay, nerds. Okay.
Yeah, but the other scanners that are out there today that are being used are 20x scanners.
Yeah.
And so you're essentially saying, okay, in order to get this promise of digital, this fast turnaround time, I'm asking my clinical pathologist to basically make a concession.
Yeah. Again,
on the level of detail that they're able to look at.
Wow.
But not with you guys, huh?
No.
Yeah, of course not. That's terrible.
Yeah, so we have some key competitive advantages, if you will. It's all built on our technology. I mean, we built the hardware. So we built the hardware, then we layered over that a really cool software interface that allows people to send their slides out to a clinical pathologist. And then we also recruited and trained and onboarded the clinical pathologist to our network as well. So we have this sort of end-to-end solution for these hospitals.
Okay, so you're not a veterinarian.
No.
So, how did you come up with this? And I have a question after that. So how did you come up with this?
Okay. Was that a way of saying, give me the short answer?
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know what that was about. It was like a warning.
Yeah, exactly. Don't go. Yeah, exactly. Like, don't, Jason, don't even try to ask a question
No,
here.
because I just want to know, Star Trek or Star Wars? Which one?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure, Star Wars. But anyway,
You didn't say Battlestar Galactica or Buck Rogers.
yeah, I just love Star Wars. And specifically the first
what he was
three.
about to say was, I'm not that old, lady. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Battlestar Buck Rogers. Okay.
He basically was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
I know. Yeah. The millennials are like Buck Rogers. That's not even on.
Is that a fast food chain? What is that?
Okay. Anyhow. So how'd you come up with this, Osher?
So it's important to note that our company is 33 people. We have several dozen people in Tel Aviv.
Oh, wow.
That actually built the hardware and software and all that stuff. So I used to live in Tel Aviv. I moved there in 2015, and I joined up with what was at this point a 4 or 5 person team. They just had these microscopy parts like clamped to a bench, and the vision was extraordinary, and the team was just like amazing and just so cool and smart. So I was like, yes, this is of all the options I have, this is the one I'm going with.
Okay.
And so I joined as the business guy, the guy that was going to basically look at all the different industries where digital microscopy can play a role, and to apply it to specific use cases where we could stand those things up and get those things going. So that was like almost 5 years ago at this point. And in my research and working with the team, we really looked and we saw that there's veterinary, there's human medicine, specifically in hematology and pathology. And then there's also really good research applications. And
that's incredible, because you talk like somebody who's been working in veterinary practices, and like you sound like you know exactly what the practitioner's thinking, Oh,
well, I've spent a lot of time in vet hospitals, and we started with, putting one into a vet school, and then moving it to a vet hospital kind of around the corner from the vet school. And it just required really testing assumptions and getting under the skin of why this is important, and just really focusing and iterating. And so
now, what are you guys doing? Because you can't just go to all these you can't travel all over right now because of the pandemic.
Step one's been sort of interrupted a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Innovate and change what you're doing here.
Yeah.
How'd you adapt?
So we're adapting. It's important to note that
the struggle is real.
We are in the midst of our basically third round of implementation. So we had like what we call an alpha round, which was in 2017 into 2018. We had a beta, phase of development, which, basically just concluded. And now we're picking up with what we call our serial. So our sort of ready for prime time product. It's very similar to the beta, but beta was a process of learning and leaning in, and all of our beta customers are paying customers. But so now we're getting ready to deploy a couple hundred units here in 2020.
Oh my gosh. A couple hundred units.
Yeah. And so the plan was, and they say, I'm going to botch this, but necessity is the mother
of invention.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
He said he was going to say it. Why do you got to interrupt him?
He had trouble. Exactly. I'm just helping.
Thanks, all right, go ahead. I got your back.
I feel like me and Jason have to stick up for each other here.
Yeah, perfect.
Do you guys need to get a room?
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, we're a digital company, but we have been implementing our technology in person, right? Because part of this is about, our customers are on the adoption curve.
Yeah.
This is something very new, very disruptive to how they normally operate.
Yep.
And so it has historically taken training, and we didn't want to put too much on the hospital. So we would show up and we would do all the installation, right? And we would engage with the doctors, because we really want to know these doctors that we're dealing with. So if they have if they have questions, it's like, we have this, more of a rapport with them. And it's just forcing us to change our game a little bit and just switch it up and just
so what are you guys doing?
Remote digital company. So we're hard at work. So we basically, with our new system, which has 3 slides instead of 2, which is...
Oh, so you've already upgraded. You got 3
we've
instead
upgraded,
of 2.
Yep. And is also far more robust from an installation perspective. So it's meant to be sort of plug and play. And it's a little bit faster. The software is advanced. So it's it's an upgrade from beta. And so we've actually just this week shipped our first what we call X100, so this next device, out to one of our existing customers, right? So we're like, okay, let's just send one of these things to our existing customers and just give it to them for free as an upgrade.
Oh, that guy was lucky.
Yeah,
that was good stuff.
Yeah, right. So we're testing out our ability to remotely install this thing.
Okay.
And we've been testing like for the last several weeks to prepare for this. We have all these materials on how to do it. We've also simultaneously shifted to the training that is meant to be done in person. So we'll walk people up to the unit. We'll give them a quick demo, 20, 30-minute demo, and then get the next batch of lab techs and DVMs and kind of do that over and over and over for a day or two, depending on the size of the hospital. We've been working on a platform for education, an online platform for education. So we've been basically putting all of the training that we do into video segments and modules.
Oh, wow.
And how's that going? Are they receptive to it? Is it simple enough that you can teach them that way? Because that'd be a huge selling point, right? And not only quick and easy, but it's easy to learn.
Training on demand.
Right.
Yeah, right. So it's important to note that our system is built using Google's design system. So, similar to the icons you would see on your iPhone or your Android or whatever.
Wow.
It's very intuitive. So you kind of figure where certain things are or what certain buttons do, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a really intuitive interface that if you really lean in,
well,
you should be able to navigate. But when you have a busy veterinarian and a busy tech, especially these days, right?
But what's good is that I don't have to like cut down my appointment schedule because you guys are only in town for those couple of days.
Exactly.
Now it's kind of on demand. It's at my pace, at my time. I can do it again and again without anyone judging me.
Yeah. And we've been hard at working on the customers that we have now, right?
Yeah.
Like making sure they're getting a good experience, improving the software, improving the hardware. And in retrospect, maybe we would have worked on this a little bit sooner, but again, the mother of invention thing, right? So this is the kind of thing where we can send the videos in advance and our customers can just kind of be up to speed and then maybe just do like one WebEx lunch and learn and close the deal, right?
Wow.
So, we're excited to be shifting.
Do you think after this pandemic situation is happening, you guys to the sort of remote training, or do you think it would be better to kind of go back and have both, maybe the option of both? If you will go to you if you want to learn, or you want to just do it, kind of over the internet or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
what are your thoughts on that?
Remote. I mean, first of all, I think the hospitals themselves have some turnover. Not a ton of turnover, right? But there's a new doctor that comes on board. There's a new vet tech that comes on board. And it's been on our agenda to not have to retrain everybody that is new to Scopio, or if somebody's been sitting on the sidelines because they haven't had many cases and now all of a sudden they're getting lots of cases and wanting to learn Scopio. It's always been something that we've wanted to just be able to just say, hey, watch a few videos, you'll be up to speed. So it's really sped up our timeline on that front.
That's great.
So it actually it works out well for us.
Wow.
Good.
I think that's incredible. But just kind of the germination of the idea to get this essentially point of care clinical pathology with the specialist backing it, that's incredible. And so your veterinarians, the clinical pathologists, the specialists that work for you, do they come to an office, or do they, how does that work? Because they can work, they can telecommute, can't they?
Yeah, we've had pathologists read from their cars at rest stops.
What?
In their jammies on the beach. I mean, yeah. Somebody said that they did it. Somebody said that they did it on a subway platform. Okay.
They read the slides on a subway platform.
Yes.
Just be careful.
It's a family show. It's a family show.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yes. Where's my head at? But,
that's right.
They don't know. Where's Jen's head at? Anyways,
yeah, but what we're finding is that it's kind of it's fun for pathologists to do it because it's digital, it's exciting. You're able to annotate the slides and kind of mark them up, and you're hunting them down, and it's really like a Google Maps type experience.
Oh, how fun!
So the best pathologists on our platform, they geek out over this and they love it. So you find that it's 11 o'clock at night and we get a case. And that, it's being picked up because people are like Netflixing. It used to be Netflix and chill. Now it's like,
Netflix
and
chill.
Netflix and Clint Path. I don't know if that's going to come down so much, my friend.
No, I think it has legs. I think it can work.
Right. Clean path and chill. Well, I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because that's like a super option for specialists, to get that balance. And so you said 11 o'clock at night. So this is like a 24/7.
It's 24/7.
I love emergency practice. And so at 3 a.m. when a dog comes in with golf ball sized lymph nodes or something, but based on my, all my worldly experience as a clinical pathologist, which is the big goose egg.
Yeah, first you're going to rule out lepto.
Yeah. I can rule out lepto, right?
This is definitively not lepto.
But, if the owners are going to be faced with a really hard decision, whether it's lymphoma or not lymphoma or whatever, I really want a clinical pathologist to look at it, but they usually have to wait days.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is that you brought up one of my favorite points about this is that and I told you about this process of learning and going into clinics and asking people how they do stuff. And at the beginning of my experience in veterinary, I would talk to ER clinicians and they'd be like, I don't care that much about cyto. It's just not a thing I do that much. Right. And we're like, oh, okay. Interesting.
That's not an emergency.
They're not going to want to do it. Right. Well, maybe it is, but if I'm an ER doctor at 2 a.m., and I know if I take this FNA, it's just going to sit there till next morning. Then it's going to get sent out. Then 2 days later, it's going to come back.
2 days later, not on a Saturday.
Sure, yeah. But, then it's 3-4 days. But it's off their docket. So it's not really an ER thing to do cytology if you have to wait. Now, you start bringing into the equation that an ER doctor can get an answer in 45 minutes.
Wow.
And they can actually do the full cytology workup, but really the full diagnostic workup, which is inclusive of cytology. It can be inclusive of a path review on blood.
Yeah.
It can be looking for a septic abdomen or looking for bacteria and other samples, right? So for the first time, you're seeing ER doctors engage with cytology.
Yeah.
And the scenario that you just described is great. Another scenario might be, is this going to onco in the morning or is this going to IM in the morning or, whatever, what have you. And so it's just much more powered medicine for those that are leaning in, right? So there's a big application ER that when we went into this, we're like, it doesn't seem like it's really going to catch on in ER. And it's just one of those things that happens magically out of necessity.
Because ER vets like to diagnose too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think they just couldn't, right? The option wasn't there, and now you presented an option. That's all it is, and it's really fantastic what you guys are doing.
Incredible. So so tell me, I know you got a website, right?
No.
Like in all your techie stuff, nerd, you guys don't have
we couldn't find anybody that could actually do it. They were like, oh, you have to write lines of code and
what?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we have a website.
Okay.
It's scopiolabs.com.
Okay. Scopiolabs.com.
Whatever, you held out long enough for me to check it. I was like, what? This guy's got to have a website. I typed it in there.
That's right. That's incredible. So let's see. Are you encouraging? Because in this, right now, a lot of people are focused on their pets. Do you guys have any type of offer that you're making with hospitals right now or veterinarians at all? Or you think that's on the horizon or?
Yeah, so I think what's important now, and especially in COVID, is that people are, with protocols changing daily, right, and really trying to limit customer interactions, we are seeing with our customers that the value proposition of rapid turnaround time and, I should say, direct access to a clinical pathologist is actually more pronounced than ever.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to limit customer interactions, right? So if I have to wait 2 days and then I get the answer and, you got to come back in for X, Y, and Z, it really flies in the face of everything we're trying to do with COVID, right?
You could have been diagnosed with COVID in those 2 days.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. And, obviously things are very hectic. Parents are home with their kids.
Yeah.
Like I am.
Yeah.
And, so anyway, so if you can actually get a final diagnosis, if that person had to go to the vet and cytology or hematology with path review is warranted or indicated, you really should. So now is actually a very good time to adopt digital cytology. However, we understand that there is reluctance to try new things. Like we're just trying to keep this thing afloat.
What? Are you saying veterinarians don't like change?
No, veterinarians love change. The veterinarians I know love change. But now might not be the time if you're if you're trying to figure out like, okay, how do I do curbside, service? Like what is that even about? So what we're doing now during COVID is we're doing a month of free trial. Okay. And we just want to, again, we're able to ship remotely and train everybody remotely. It's something we had to do to continue along our path to growth. Yep. So we're able to train remotely and get people engaged. So we're offering a month of free trial.
So I can have this crazy cutting edge equipment, this scanner.
Which by the way, is beautifully designed.
Oh, thank you.
You should have a look at it.
You've been to our website.
You said you didn't have one, so I had to check it out. It's I mean, it's very sweet. Anyways, moving on.
I'm going to improve the aesthetics within my practice, right?
Yes.
And I can have that on a free trial for a month and just put in as many cytology slides as I want.
Yeah, absolutely.
3 at a time.
Wow.
Yeah.
3 at a time.
Yep.
Wow. That's incredible. So scopiolabs.com, right?
Yep.
If you're interested, and I mean, pet owners, ask your vet. Ask your vet, do they have Scopio?
Yeah. So basically, you guys innovated twice within 3 months, right? The whole situation is very innovative in its originality, and then you had to innovate how you implement it. So very good. Awesome.
Yeah, good.
Absolutely.
Good on you guys. Yeah. I'm in awe. I'm pretty impressed. So thanks so much for coming into the Candyverse to kind of drag us into the 21st century. We appreciate that, Osher.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's been really fun.
Yeah, Osher Fink with Scopio Labs, folks. Check them out, scopiolabs.com.
Very cool stuff.
We're going to take a short break, and we'll see you guys on the other side.
Vet Candy makes your life easier with scientific news, clinical updates, and expert lifestyle tips. Sign up for free at myvetcandy.com and start making your life sweeter.
Oh, sure. It's all fun and games until someone ends up in a cone. That's right. We're animals. Deal with it. Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Welcome back to Vet Candy's podcast and other news. So we're talking with innovators, business disruptors, and how they have adapted to overcome the big changes that are happening because of this pandemic that we're all in. So our next guest, she's already joined us here in the Candyverse. This is Dr. Kristin Welch, and she has a business. Jason, have you heard of DVM Stat?
DVM Stat. I have heard of it. It's awesome. I love it. All right. I even Googled them before this little Zoom meeting we're having. It's great.
You did research?
A little bit. Listen, not much. All right. It's still up on my screen.
Wow. Hey, Dr. Welch, feel privileged. Jason,
wait, hold on. I think
research.
the better question is, who hasn't heard of DVM Stat?
Yes. Well, so what's interesting is that some of you, if you have seen Dr. Courtney Campbell and me doing our rapid rounds, then you have garnered some free continuing education credits, some race credits, also with Dr. Kristin Welch, because she's been one of our stat chats.
Oh, wow. That's
yes,
great.
On rapid rounds. And so, Dr. Welch, welcome back into the Candyverse.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us and actually bringing up, I think, the veterinary IQ of the room here by about, 50 points or so.
At least.
So, yes. So I want to talk a little bit about what you did to innovate, kind of getting that specialist consultation. So for general practitioners. So tell me a little bit about DVM Stat and how it works.
Sure. So DVM Stat is a group of veterinary specialists in emergency and critical care, internal medicine, cardiology, neurology, radiology, and anesthesia and analgesia.
Wow.
And we work as a really cohesive remote source of specialty information for veterinarians who are out in private practice.
You left one out. You left out the kitchen sink.
Yeah, I know.
It sounds like it's everybody.
How could she have left one out, but then she kept reeling them off? I thought, well, I'd probably leave one out too if I had all that.
The kitchen sink. So yeah,
it's a mobile, remote source of specialty information, essentially in a telephonic and web-based format, where the veterinarian still gets to maintain their veterinary client-patient relationship, and the client still feels most comfortable with their primary veterinarian. But the level of medicine that the veterinarian can provide is amplified by now bringing a specialist directly into that patient care.
Yes.
Remotely, by sharing medical records, imaging, having conversations over the phone, us interacting with video about
Jason,
that case and that examination.
Jason, did you hear that? She just amplified my ability to provide care. Did you hear it?
No, I did. It's great. I don't know if she amplified my ability, but she amplified everybody else's ability to provide some care.
That's awesome. So I think that's incredible because
it is really great, and especially this time. This time.
Yeah, especially right now because all that virtual component, and so I think that's interesting because I got to tell you, Dr. Welch, when I first came out of school, I moonlighted at an emergency practice, and
I thought you were going to say they just invented electricity, but okay, I will go with moonlighted in practice. Okay.
Why is it always a shot at? Wait, you're the same age.
Yes. Okay. Great. Moving on.
Okay, I got to tell you, there is no feeling of being alone like an island, better or worse, I guess I should say, than 3:30 in the morning, and some crazy case comes in. And you can't even phone a friend because they won't be your friend the next day, right?
You get to do it once and then they're out.
It's a one time. It expires. It's a one-time use only. And so, but with this option, with the DVN stat, like practitioners don't have to be alone at 3:30 in the morning. Can they call you guys at 3:30 in the morning?
Absolutely. Anytime, 24/7, 365. They call the hotline and a criticalist picks up the phone.
Oh my gosh.
And directly follow that case along. We receive all of their medical records, ultrasound images, EKGs, whatever they have that they want us also to review at the same time so that that consultation is as comprehensive as possible. And it takes place right away over the phone. There's no middleman or anything like that. Just call the hotline, a criticalist picks up, and your consult happens. So we really are the phone a friend. Hopefully the final destination phone a friend where you actually get the information that you want so that you can take the best care of that patient and make some definitive decisions.
All right. So like you don't have to phone a friend and then choose the 50-50. Or my favorite, poll the lobby.
Poll the lobby. Wait, I know that's happened before. What do y'all think we should do over here? You know that's happened a few times at 3:30 in the morning, right?
Maybe.
I've never done that. I've heard about it.
Yeah. So could you have you found that people, are they using you guys more often? Because right now, if I go in, if I have a client come in to see me in a general practice and I want to refer them to a specialist, some people are concerned because they're like, now I have to go to another practice.
Yeah, one more place.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of practices that aren't actually receiving non-emergency cases. So a lot of what would have been scheduled as an internal medicine consultation or a Cushing's diagnostic appointment or a diabetic patient, they're not able to get that done for X number of weeks to months.
Yeah.
And our service fits really nicely into that void, both during this pandemic time frame and outside of that as well. But it allows the primary vets who are really trying to stay open and trying to take the best care of their patients that they can while protecting themselves and their staff so that they're around to provide that care. They're able to utilize us as their remote specialist in a very similar way to what the pet would receive if they were going to an internal medicine facility or a cardiologist or a neurologist or an emergency doctor, but they're maintaining that trusting relationship that the client's already built with them. So the patient, doesn't end up having to travel, affordability and convenience wise. It's a huge perk.
Yeah, no kidding. And so that's really become something that you guys have had. You probably had to adapt to having a higher load, higher caseload.
Yeah. And that's been, it's been really nice to be able to be a source of ongoing support for the veterinary community because, we're all in practice. I'm in practice. I came from work today to get on with you. And it's nice to be able to be someone who continues to sort of boost up the practice community because we're all struggling right now.
Yeah. And maintain that standard of care.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Because that's so important for our clients and our patients, is to keep
It is.
trying to provide them the best care possible, even when there are currently, limited resource options.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're
Totally
talking
understood.
to a lot of folks that are doing this, or several folks, and the question I always ask is, what do you guys think is going to happen? No one can really answer this, but do you think clients like it, veterinarians like it? Is this going to continue as a trend? Do you think? Is it going to be something that we do
the virtual
more as
type?
the new normal, as everybody likes to call it? It's not going to stay exactly the same, but I do think that there might be some positives, right?
Oh, I think so, for sure. What I think is going to be a huge positive
Your
is that
business is going to stay.
I think the general stance of the veterinary community is probably going to lean a little bit more towards allowing telemedicine options, which
Right.
is, we're teleconsultation, so we're a doctor-to-doctor service. We
Yeah.
provide, specialty consults to doctors, so we don't fall into the telemedicine equilibrium.
Yeah.
But allowing telemedicine to be part of everyday general practice is going to so greatly improve practice managers and owners' abilities to be more efficient, to deal with more patients in a day, to answer a lot more of the questions that do a lot better with like video and
Right.
physical interaction, but being able to do that in a remote way.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually, there is going to be a positive that comes out of this horrid.
Yeah, it's almost like a forced acceptance.
Yeah.
A lot of
which is
times
kind of
he
nice,
doesn't want to
because
accept anything, but we're sort of no choice now, so it's great.
Yep.
So now's a chance to shine, as it were. So
yeah, and veterinary medicine has always lagged behind human medicine in a lot of ways, and accepting telemedicine as an option has always been one.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it also, it provides for kind of a more intense connection, which is counterintuitive because it's remote, but it can be a more intense connection, because if they can just, shoot a picture over to me and I can look at it, then I can consult a specialist like yourself. I can, ring up DVM Stat and say, I think I see this. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. Or I would say, what the heck is this? I mean,
Right.
I wouldn't even pretend to say something like, what is this? What am I looking at? Save me. Anyways.
But it does. It's a more intense connection, and we can proceed with a lot more confidence, I think, with that therapeutic regimen, especially because, again, we're not alone. Yeah. We're not alone. So I think that's critically important, especially during the pandemic. Well, this is wonderful. So you, lady, have innovated and disrupted the veterinary profession, and now you're adapting and overcoming a pandemic. I mean, you might have to have a cape on for that.
I know, maybe.
Seriously. Yeah. What makes you think she's not wearing one right now? I mean,
it's possible.
We didn't ask her to turn around. Maybe she just wears it all the time. I don't know.
I know. It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah. Got nothing to do with the pandemic. She's just a superhero.
Right. So this is fantastic. So we've talked with, we talked with Osher Fink with Scopio Labs, who's revolutionized the delivery of the clinical pathology diagnosis. Now we've spoken with you, Dr. Welch, with DVM Stat. And tell me, where can folks find out more information about DVM Stat?
Our website is dvmstat.com, and that's where you can get detailed information about all of our specialties and our specialist staff. And our hotline, which is staff 24/7, is 833-386-7828.
Now, do clients don't call your hotline, do they?
No. Occasionally they do, but
it's on the internet. I'm sure that they have before, right?
Right. But so this is something where you need your veterinarian to call.
Correct. And that's the response if we get a client that calls.
Yeah, because you cannot opine on a pet you've never seen unless you are in consult with a doctor with a valid veterinary client-patient relationship. We should say that right out for our listeners in the Candyverse who are not veterinarians. Yeah, so
also provides the best care for that pet too, because the veterinarian who has the client-patient relationship has the diagnostic acumen to make an appropriate assessment, so that we can then add to that assessment with a specialist.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's wonderful. So we had Osher, we had Dr. Welch with DVM Stat, and now we're going to transition to a bit of an innovative entrepreneur with Dr. Keith Latson is up as our next guest. So we will welcome him into the Candyverse. Thank you so much, Dr. Welch, for joining us. And I guarantee you that Dr. Campbell and I will see you again in Rapid Round.
Thank you for having me.
Hey everyone. Michelle Fern here. I have the perfect gift for Mother's Day. You know, I can't visit my mother-in-law as much as I'd like to, and that's why I love the Skylight frame. It's a touchscreen photo frame that you can email photos to, and they appear in seconds, so my mother-in-law can see the pictures right away. And I have a great savings for you. Just go to skylightframe.com/pet and you'll save $10. That's right, skylightframe.com/pet, P-E-T, and you'll save $10. And get ready to receive sheer happiness thank yous from your recipient, because they will love this.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
All right, welcome back, Newshounds. Joining us in the Candyverse, we have us like a bona fide unicorn. And that is a pun intended, because he is a board-certified horse equine surgeon, as well as a business innovator. Jason, half the words that this guy says, I'm not even sure I know what they are.
That's why we had the pre-production meeting, and we asked him to kind of take it down, not just for me. I'm aware of the situation, and I can appreciate that. The skill level this guy possesses, just to get it down to my level, is just unsurpassed, right?
It's incredible. It's incredible. But he's also one of my classmates from vet school.
Yes, I apologize to him for that, but you can't choose your classmates. So
honored to be one of your classmates.
All right. See, you know what you can't choose? You can't choose your co-host on a podcast.
No,
Dr.
you can't.
Latson.
Right. Anyway.
Anyhow, that's Dr. Keith Latson that you guys hear joining us. Welcome to the Candyverse.
Hey, thanks. I'm glad to be here with both of you.
Yeah. So first of all, you've never actually done surgery on a unicorn, have you?
No, I've never done surgery on a unicorn, and I've never been called a unicorn. So lots of other things, but thanks for that right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate. That's right.
Hit a horse racing reference there.
That's right. That's right. So that's fantastic. All right. So let's see. I'm not sure if Jason really knows too much about your business. Do you know anything about his business, Jason?
I know he's got it. Listen, I got Google. All right, we talked about it. He's got some stuff happening, right? But for me to sort of talk about some stuff. Tell us about what's happening in your life, Dr.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I mean, as with everybody, that's changed.
Yes, it has.
It changes minute by minute, hour by hour.
Yeah.
For us, I'm a veterinarian. I've always called myself a veterinarian, and went to vet school at Texas A&M, did a surgery at UC Davis, so an Aggie through and through.
That's right. That's a double ag.
That's right, a double
ag.
Oh,
I didn't realize you were the full blown in great at Texas A&M. That's fantastic.
Yeah, full on. So I practiced for about 10 years doing equine surgery on thoroughbreds, and that had always been my dream, to work on athletic horses. And I actually started thinking I'd be a human orthopedic surgeon, and that quickly changed when I saw my first racehorse in real life. I just thought it was the most spectacular athletic specimen I'd ever seen. I mean, to watch them move, just so graceful and almost motionless other than their legs. So
I thought you were going to say that changed when you met your first human in an orthopedic surgery setting.
Well, if I'd ever had to change a bedpan, it probably would have changed. And I have to throw out some great respect for all the people who are on the front lines right now doing just that.
Oh, it's incredible, isn't it?
24 hours a day. It's unbelievable, the commitment that all of our healthcare practitioners have. And so I've got to throw that out there and a big word of thanks. But no, I thought racehorses were the most spectacular things, and their legs were built like suspension bridges, which spoke to my kind of engineering mind.
I never heard that.
And so I'm kind of a nerd that way, and it just it fit everything that I was really looking for out of a career. To be outdoors generally, to be with animals generally, and to be with interesting people, which certainly is the racetrack. Some of the most people I know, but interesting people. And
that's a nice way to put it, my friend. Interesting people, though. Not even air quotes, just straight out interesting.
Just interesting from
all
walks of life.
Characters.
That's
characters.
Right.
Yeah.
Lots of characters. And I think we all see that in veterinary medicine. We meet our cast of characters, and it would be an interesting podcast to have our top 5 characters that we've met in our careers.
Oh yeah.
Just exchange stories, but
names would have to be changed.
Yes.
Right. There might have to be a 10-second delay for some of the colorful language. But through that arc, I was exposed to a lot of people who had made careers as entrepreneurs, doing other things, building businesses, and just saying yes to opportunities. And for me, the first opportunity came when my college fraternity brother came to me and said, "Hey, I've been using this product, but all I can get is a human product. Do you think we could formulate it for horses and use it with our own patients?" And ultimately, that became my first business that wasn't veterinary medicine service related, and really climbed the learning curve with that business. And that's expanded into more opportunities in several other businesses, including Square, which is the business based on Amazon, but particularly focusing on animal health that you and I have talked a little bit about.
Yeah. Yeah. And you described for me kind of how that works. And I think I understood the first 3 or 4 minutes of how that works. It's just incredible to me to talk with a veterinarian who has that kind of a relationship where we're talking about like top 100 sellers on Amazon. I mean, that's just incredible.
Deal, right? It's huge. Everybody knows Amazon. That's a huge. When Jennifer told me that, I was like, no way. She doesn't know it. Okay. Truth be told, I thought maybe she didn't know what she was talking about with this. So I was like,
wow.
I took that with a grain of salt. Like maybe she means top 100 sellers, on a Tuesday between the hours of 3 and 4. I don't really know what she's talking about.
Right.
I mean, we've all been on Amazon, so that's fantastic.
Sure. And Amazon, if you had told me 10 years ago that this would be the case, I'd be involved in a family-run business based out of St. Louis, working virtually with 2 of my favorite cousins on this business that would be a top 100 seller on Amazon, I would have just shaken my head and said,
Keith,
there's no way.
Did you just offend the rest of your cousins? I don't know. I think maybe you did. You gotta be careful.
Only if they're offendable.
Oh, very good. That's put the onus right back on them. Very good. Excellent job. You're not a lawyer also? That's very
I know. What the heck?
That may have been the fallback plan.
Uh-oh. No, I don't think Keith could be a lawyer because he's not argumentative enough. He's one of the nicest guys.
Well,
like that. You got to be like, who was that legal eagle we had on the other episode? Omar, Counselor Lopez.
Omar.
Yeah. Omar. He's argumentative. Keith Latson, not argumentative. No.
No. I'll let other people argue. Maybe mediate.
You could be a mediator.
Maybe I'll mediate a little bit. In the meantime.
So what's interesting is in this time of the pandemic, we're talking with innovators who not only do they recognize that veterinary medicine has been somewhat disrupted by the pandemic. Now we're doing curbside service, social distancing, minimizing contact with other humans, etc. So veterinarians are even more distant from their clients and from their pets. But Keith, you kind of are offering, like you have a strategy to not only continue the standard of care that veterinarians are used to providing, but maybe elevate it in some ways because of kind of how you straddle veterinary medicine and business with the Amazon platform, right?
Sure. I think there are a lot of opportunities for veterinarians to expand what they do, not necessarily to skydive off the cliff with their careers, hoping that the parachute opens like I did in 2015.
Well, apparently it opened, my friend. Not only that,
fortunately, through a lot of hard work and dedication and relationship building, it did open.
Yeah.
But I think with that curbside service.
Was it like one of those clunky old time parachutes, or was it one of those cool like flight suit things? How did it happen?
Yeah, it wasn't like a Mission Impossible square parachute, like a halo jump Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
It felt like more like a World War II parachute.
Like you just flung it out.
Like the jerk when that thing finally opened was
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
I wouldn't necessarily suggest that right now people make a decision like that, although I know a lot of people feel like that decision has been made for them. A lot of veterinarians do.
Yeah.
So a lot of us are left wondering, okay, what do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
How do I help this parachute open or at least buffer my landing a little bit? And I think I've talked to a lot of veterinarians who have done some interesting things, and so have you all, from the curbside service to beginning to create content along with their teams, create content, make connections with their clientele so that there is a consistent conversation happening between themselves and their clients, checking in. Hey, how's your pet doing? How's your animal doing? I know we saw them 4 weeks ago. I'm just checking in. And so you and I talked a lot about telemedicine and consulting online on Zoom calls like this.
Yep.
And I think there are some potentially added layers of value that veterinarians can add when they're doing those teleconferences and telemedicine, in that so often products are being recommended by the veterinarian, and in many of these more complex issues, maybe it's a dog with IBD who is on all sorts of medications and dietary restrictions or dietary needs for that IBD, but they may also be getting probiotic. So when we talk about the probiotics, oftentimes veterinarians are not the ones who are selling that probiotic to the customer. They're making the recommendation, but now that their brick and mortar pharmacies or checkout stores are not open and accessible to customers by and large are resorting to Amazon or online websites that still have inventory and capacity to ship. One of the things that I think is really critical right now for veterinarians to provide is that continuity of convenience that comes from the telemedicine consult all the way through to, hey, here's a link to the product. I
think that's the thing that is to some degree can be tricky with the pandemic that's happening right now. It can be a little bit more involved even when we don't have like the world on lockdown. But right now, if I don't have it in the practice, do I ask the client to go to another location to pick it up? Is that essential? Are we going to get in trouble? Are they going to actually go and do it? And so I think that affording that option for delivery to the home, and can you describe how that can happen for a veterinarian?
Sure. I mean, most people, like we just talked about prior to the show, most people are buying off of Amazon routinely now. It's just become a part of daily life for many of us. Most of us, looking at the statistics, Amazon has really skyrocketed. And fortunately, they're able to still provide their continuity of service. Although shipping times have been pushed out a little bit, products are still available and they're still shipping by and large. So one of the ways veterinarians can take advantage of the Amazon platform is called Amazon's affiliate program, or their associate program. And this is basically an affiliate network where the veterinarian or their practice would sign up for the Amazon Associates program. And depending on the category of product, whether it's pet or home and household, depending on the category, the person who recommends that product through their link that they provide collects a commission on the sale of that product. So for example, in pet products, currently that commission is 8%, which doesn't seem like a whole lot. It seems like, man, I would have to get a lot of people to buy a lot of product for 8% to make any sort of a difference.
That's sales tax. For most people, that's the amount of the sales tax that they would normally have to pay.
Right. And so Amazon effectively pays a commission to the person who's recommended that product when their customer, whether it's on a website or through an email or something, when their customer purchases through that associate's link. So this is an opportunity for veterinarians to say, here, this is the product I'd like you to buy, and to have that conversation about, we're all in some difficult times right now, and I do receive a commission when you purchase through this link.
Yep.
Well, I think that creates trust and transparency in that transaction.
Yeah.
And I also think there's opportunity for veterinarians to understand that there are certain sellers on Amazon which work directly with the pharmaceutical companies or with the manufacturers, the brands directly. So veterinarians can trust the supply chain of product, that it hasn't gone through 4 100-degree warehouses before it's gotten to Amazon, before it's to the customer.
Well, because that not only is that the big issue, right? Because, we don't know how long it sat on a pallet on the loading dock, right? A lot of times. That's right. But the issue is that, so if I say to a client, let's go back to the IBD dog or the IBD cat. And one of the kind of the ancillary therapies is probiotics. I mean, that was a great example. And so do you know how many probiotics there are in the market? Like for pets, there's a bazillion. Like as a veterinarian, I don't want to say, oh, they need to be on some probiotics. Right. But I also, if I don't have any and my supply chain has been disrupted because of COVID and because of delays in shipping from my distributor, I want to be able to directly steer my client to a probiotic that I trust, that I recommend for their specific pet and what they need. And then I want to be able to trust that the supply chain is intact and we know it's going to be effective. And so being able to do that with something like an Amazon affiliate account, that just allows me to offer standard of care, almost no matter what's happening.
That's right. And I think the other thing too, continuing on with that probiotic example, the other thing to consider is that many probiotics need to be shipped cool.
Yeah.
So are we using a provider, a third-party seller like my company, and there are several other reputable companies as well who work directly with brands? Are they shipping that probiotic with an ice pack or with a cold pack? Are they shipping it during the middle of summer? Here I am in Texas, you in Florida. Fortunately, we're at home and we can receive our packages fairly immediately right now. Right. But in the normal case, it's
going to sit there till people get home from work.
Sit there for a couple of hours. So we need to know that that's being shipped with a cold pack. And those are the types of things that take a little bit of research on the veterinarian's part to be able to offer. Here's the link to a supplier that I trust. But veterinarians can also reach out to the brands that they recommend and say, hey, who is your trusted provider on Amazon for your products? Okay. Because typically brands have a director of e-commerce, and that director of e-commerce has carefully selected one or several sellers for their products on the Amazon platform and the other third-party marketplace platforms like eBay and those. And so a veterinarian can get a list of those providers, those sellers' names, and then say, okay, here are the sellers that we trust and that we're looking for in these products.
I was going to ask you that. I wasn't sure how this transpired with the client-clinician transaction. Say, here, buy from this person, or here, you can literally just give them a list. I want you to get this product, and here's a list of people that I trust. Make sure it's from these people. Is that kind of what you would recommend? Or how does that sort of, we don't always do that, so we don't necessarily know how to go about getting that done. Is that how that, little discussion would work?
That's how that would work. So if there are supplements.
He can be taught.
Yes. Well, I have another question that's much more basic. We'll get to that in just a minute. So.
No. Go with the basics. Go with the basics. Do it.
No. My question is how do you pronounce your company's name?
You know what?
I tried a lot, and I almost had like a little cramp in my mouth.
I'd love to hear your options.
No, don't go there, lawyer man. Right? Don't put that back on me.
It's pronounced squared, so it's ZQUARED. Although we often hear from people call it Z squared.
That's what I was going to say. Squared. I know it's one word, but I love it. I think it's super innovative, right?
Yes.
And tell the truth, one of the cousins came up with that, right?
Yes.
One of the favorite cousins.
My favorite millennial cousin, because he's the only millennial of the two that I've already called favorite. So
might as well go all the way, my friend.
Go all in. All in.
Why don't you rank them on a scale of 1 to 10, each of them? We'll just put them on the spot.
Rank the extended family. Go.
Oh, man. I must have 40 cousins and second cousins.
Oh, my God. You only have 2.
Anymore. So, yeah, you're out.
Yeah.
Family reunion is going to be tough for you, Keith.
All right,
so they're the only 2 with whom I'm in business. So.
Yeah. So
okay, there you go.
Hey, Tom, I want you to buy. I recommend this, and we don't have it. You don't have to go to the store during this pandemic, but here, why don't you go online and what? You give them a list of reputable providers. I don't know what the right term is.
Or a link.
Or a link.
Or a list of links. But how do you give them? You can't just hand them a link, right? It's got to be a piece of paper, like
you got to email it, dude.
Whoa. All right.
Whoa. Yeah. I mean, if we're
thinking go back to the computer and type some stuff up, you crazy.
If we're thinking about telemedicine, I mean, let's be honest. There's hopefully going to be some digital communication back and forth.
Yeah. And so there's another thing that here in the Candyverse we're familiar with, and because it's the Amazon Smile program, and so Vet Candy, whenever our company orders something from Amazon, then a portion of it gets donated to Mission Rabies, which is one of our favorite charities. Our friend Luke Gamble runs it. And so we picked that for Amazon, our Amazon Smile program. Awesome. And, we have to order so much stuff. We order, I don't know, crates and crates and crates of makeup for Jason and lights.
Hair product for sure.
And the pomade for his hair. And then all of that. All of that.
The beard just naturally.
And the beard.
It's just a natural situation.
That's right. Well, they can see it because all of that is in preparation for the launch of Pop, right? Yeah. Our new show that's going to premiere.
Call that a shameless plug. Shameless plug.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, you just think you're going to get some good info.
Inside joke. All right, very good. I don't know how we kind of devolved into this discussion, but let's talk about the. And
actually, I should say Pop is already out, so people can find it on Facebook, on YouTube, and everywhere. Pop is out, and iTunes, because only the cool kids are on iTunes. So, but anyway, I digress. But Amazon Smile is another way that folks can really leverage that relationship with Amazon if they become like an affiliate, or they get, recommend through one of these companies because the brand and the product is curated by that company. So lots of good things.
Yeah, I think there's so much good. I think it's just a matter of really shaping the way we have traditionally thought about purchasing online. It for so long has been the humanity has not been a part of that transaction,
right?
And humanizing the transaction is something that's really important to us at Squared. And I think the Smile program is one of those things that opens up conversation once again between veterinarians and customers, and just hey, here's a quick reminder. Make sure you're contributing to the Smile program to whatever's important to you, because there are so many people who aren't signed up to the Smile program. So there are so many potential dollars that aren't going to useful causes.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. Well, this has been super fantastic.
Wait, no, not one. I got another question. It's really important. All right.
Okay.
All the important questions.
Is it a family question?
No. Okay. But I drill down in the important stuff. Okay, because Squared, did I say that right? Squared?
Yeah.
Squared.
Super big and super important to Amazon. How many dinner parties have you been to with Jeff? None? One? I mean, he invites me every Thursday. I'm like, dude, leave me alone, all right? I'm busy.
In that case, Jason, I'd have to be a guest of an invited guest.
Oh, well, you can be my +1, all right? You can be my +1.
Right. And Jason also has a seat when Blue Origin goes to the moon. Okay.
3, actually. I mean,
3. Yeah. Anyway, but this has been super fantastic. And Dr. Latson, we're going to have you come back, because I want to hear all kinds of stories about equine surgery, the Kentucky Derby, because yes, Dr. Latson is involved with the Kentucky Derby and making sure that the welfare for the racehorses is looked after. But that is a convo for another podcast.
And you may want to hear all that. But the Candyverse really wants to hear stories about Dr. Jen from Dr. Latson, all right? Because they were going to have some interesting stories, and we'll make a date, all right? It'll be great.
Nobody wants to hear that. So
everybody
anyhow,
I'll pull our class Yahoo.
You'll pull the class, and they'll say,
if that's
"Did
still
she
up
graduate?"
Who is that lady?
Was she in our class? Anyway, this has been wonderful, and we hope you guys have enjoyed this episode discussing business disruptors and innovation during the time of the COVID pandemic, where veterinarians can still continue to provide a high standard of care and help owners learn or continue to live with the pets that they love. So thank you so much, and we will talk to you guys on the next episode.
Giggle.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.